awesome event. And we are ready to go with MunchaKoopas doing Iconoclasts, so I'm going to go ahead and throw that over to him.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm MunchaKoopas. I'll be running Iconoclasts. Joining me, behind me, is Jay Hobbs and the Hatter. And also joining us on Discord is a very special guest today, Konjac, maker of this game.
I'm thousands of miles behind you.
It's true. All right. If you guys are ready on the timer, I will give a countdown. And in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Woo! All right. I'm going to skip a couple cutscenes. We're in for a long ride, so get comfy. So first things first, this game features a lot of momentum conservation mechanics, such as firing my gun and then turning around so I can maintain momentum from that. Also, whenever you kill an enemy, it resets your ability to jump for whatever reason, so that will be useful in a few spots throughout the run. I'm going to pick up this item for crafting some stuff later on. We'll get to that later. And as I make my way to the first boss here, Konjac, is there anything you'd like to talk about as I kind of move through the start of the game?
Well, first of all, I had no idea about the jump reset. But it's been really fascinating seeing people play this and all the things that they've figured out that no tester ever did. But it's always, I love speedruns. I'm used to those reactions.
All right, little sloppy on the first boss, but that's okay. Yeah, this game has a lot of different speedrun techniques. This category itself is kind of a middle category, and it is a little bit longer than regular any %, but I like running it because it's more about running the whole game, as it were. Anyway.
What does the acronym stand for, Muncha?
Oh, the acronym NOVA stands for No Out of Bounds via Air Swim. So there is still out of bounds in this run. There's just not as much.
The controversial air swim.
Yes. All right. So now
I've watched the discussions.
yes, the Discord has been very lively ever since the game came out as far as what we're doing. Would you like to talk a bit about the story now, Konjac, since I've progressed a little bit and we just met Agent Black and White?
Starting off, you're playing this mechanic girl called Robin and her dreams of being a mechanic. But of course, there's gonna be problems with doing that. And in this world, you don't really have a choice of the kind of job you want to do. Or really the life you kind of want to lead. But despite that, she tries to help her friends, and of course she gets caught, and then you have to run away. And you meet many other people who have similar issues and how they live their lives based on these limitations and also wanting to live up to their societies. I'm not the most eloquent on the story.
That's okay, because I don't know it at all, so you definitely did a better job than if I tried to explain it.
Yeah. It's about much more than that, but if you're gonna sort of summarize it, it's about shooting things while also trying to help people and trying to relate to their problems and how sometimes you actually can't help everyone. So you don't know the story.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the speedrun does not do the story of this game enough justice, just because a lot of it is told through cutscenes, which are unfortunately skipped most of the time. But I really love this game's story, and that was part of why I decided to speedrun it.
I like the options during the stories. Some of the options actually skip some like more detail of the story. Like later you meet up with a guy named Royal, and there's a part of the story where you could pretty much just like shut him down.
All right. Didn't get the chance to really explain it too well, but I basically skipped part of this puzzle by just doing some really fast movement.
Yeah, I was wondering, it looked like that door almost crushed you.
Yeah, that was found by a runner named Risky CB, who will be running any % at SGDQ. But for now, I am running this game here. And I'm going to wait here for a moment, because I need to get up and get that key.
Do we have time for a quick donation?
Sure.
We have a $5 donation from Matrika Oni that says, "Prime your potions."
Thank you. Come on.
It's a lot of fun watching these tricks being done, that at least the ones I intended, and actually seeing them used exactly as I was hoping. That sort of like, it's a very linear game. It's not really, you can exploit it in as many ways as Metroid, but so I still put in all these techs to keep your speed higher than average, to hopefully make it interesting for somebody who wants to speedrun.
As a speedrunner, thank you. Like every dev who manages to like add more and more momentum conservation into their run is always a welcome surprise.
Yeah, as we'll see very quickly here, there's actually a lot of various glitches that you actually found ways to put back in the game after patching them out.
Yeah, as long as nobody accidentally gets it. If it can happen by accident, I will get rid of it.
And I support that as someone who also works in video game development. Alright, at this point in the story, Robin has met her brother Elro. She woke up, felt an earthquake, decided to go check on her family. And you go to his house to help him out, and then Agent Black and White show up. And they're part of the One Concern, which is the religion that rules the planet. And they drag you off to jail. And then you meet my favorite character in the game, Mina. And now we have to escape prison.
Pretty convenient that prison gave you a bunch of blocks that you can move around and stuff.
I know, you'd think they would clear out the prison first.
This
All right.
section traumatizes me because there was a bad soft lock here.
As you can tell, they're making very bad puns and disrupting Agent Black.
Yeah, I can crawl 6 times in between each joke. And these jokes used to be different.
Oh, really? They
Yeah,
actually
I
changed.
toned them down because they were quite up to past, so to speak.
I can understand. Alright, coming up is really the first big glitch of the run. So what I'm going to do is, that is the next boss right there. I'm going to go past him, ideally. Because if I go into this zone right here, while holding weapon swap, and then hit my wrench button when I stop moving, I cannot do any actions. I'm pushing wrench, and wrench does not happen. So now I'm going to moonwalk through this cutscene, wait a moment, and then skip the cutscene, which skips the fight and skips directly to the next cutscene.
Nice.
So basically what happens then is you normally fight the boss, and Mina says, hey, we're going to get on my boat, and then we're going to go do stuff. And then the boat is blown up, and some people pick you up in their ship, and then you are washed ashore because they literally put you on the boat, and the captain says, I don't need them, put them back in the water.
Please tell me that skip has a name, and please tell me it's the Billie Jean.
No, it is, the boss is named Kerthunk, so we just call it Thunk Skip.
Acceptable, I guess.
Forgot I need to do some things. I actually had no idea how much damage that wrench did, so the fact that I nailed that jump makes me all the more happy.
I believe at the default it will do 2 regular laser shots.
Let's see.
That helps answer a question I was going to have, which is that you use the wrench for a lot of puzzle mechanics, but I wasn't sure if it was a combat tool as well.
Yes, the wrench, it can be used for melee attacks and actually does do more damage than the gun. It's just that in a lot of situations, like boss fights in particular, it's sometimes faster to just use your stun gun. And the wrench can also be used to reflect certain projectiles like these bombs, which are the only things that blow up these trees. I can also just jump over them like this. Alright, my next objective in this area is to pick up a new weapon. Well, Kanye, how did you go about designing areas like this and giving the players like things to do? How did you want to guide them through the play space?
I basically design levels on the sort of mindset of introducing what you recently got. So it's always a learning curve of the last thing you actually found and equipped, and the level sort of forms itself according to your latest tool. And you're still in the beginning of the game, so you're learning the basics of what you already have. And I'm very much a fan of every single square inch having some sort of purpose, which creates very unnatural environments, but it creates very good environments for gameplay. But also, I made this game according to how the plot plays out, which is a big reason why it's so a bit more linear than a usual Metroid game. But also, Monster World 4 was a huge inspiration on this game, which is very similar to this in structure.
Alright.
Yep.
Time to bonk Kirk. See you later, Kirk.
Oh yeah.
So I can't help but notice you've got that red bar that shows up. Is that some form of stamina?
Oh, the red
Muncha?
bar at the top. Oh, I'll explain that in a bit.
The one above your character.
Yeah, that is a cooldown bar. Whenever you fire a charged shot, you have to wait for that to fill before you can fire your gun again. Please don't mind me, I'm just text mashing. And now we're going to play a shape matching minigame. So my favorite element is the element of circle. I don't know about you guys. X seems to be pretty popular right now. If I mix circle and triangle in any way, I have to restart this sequence. The sequence is always the same. Next is X. We get some nice Metal Gear music going on. I love the soundtrack for this game, by the way.
I'm digging it, man.
Thank you. This is one of those misguided jokes where you sort of do the joke when you're trying to make a joke about how bad it is. Mini games in the middle of games I play completely different, but you still have to do it. But I was young. It's simple enough.
And I take it, yeah, he's been increasing in speed throughout this whole time.
Yeah. All right. So now I am going to get my new weapon, the roller bomb.
That's some awesome sound design, too.
Yeah.
Very Metro-y.
Don't forget to go back and visit the soldier at night.
You know, I've never actually done that in this game. I really should. I still haven't fought Fitzroy either. I did fight Corners. I loved that fight.
That fight actually sort of reignited my desire to do something much more arcadey.
Do we have an opportunity to read off a few more donations?
Yeah. We do.
Cool. Yeah, we have a $20 donation from CMM1215 that says, "Hey Muncha, just wanted to wish you good luck on your run, though you won't need it. Have a great calathon."
Thank you, CMM.
Then we have a $5 donation from Drex that says, "Good luck and more importantly, have fun. Thanks for running this category, Muncha. What value?"
So for instance here you have the bomb now. You're going back the same way you came, but you're using a new tool, so you sort of get, you know the levels, but you notice the differences of what the bomb can do, so you learn that along the way back, because you go faster. You can kill the trees instantly, for instance, and that's sort of the kind of level design I wanted to have.
Ooh, oops. Forgot that I have to blow this up. So to answer your question from earlier, J-Hobbs, the red bar... Oh, wait, I already answered that. It's
Yeah,
the
you did
cooldown from your
answer.
gun. So the cooldown for each gun is different, and each gun has a different charged shot. Will that make it? That will make it. Okay. So the stun gun has the second shortest cooldown in the game. The gun I get later on has an even shorter cooldown. So for now, it is faster to do these like gun boost jumps with the stun gun. More on the roller bomb in a moment here as we fight Kibuka and meet Royal. I also love this music, so I'm just going to let it play. And all I have to do really is let Royal knock over the boss, and then I shoot a bomb inside of it.
What if I scream over the music?
I mean, you can do that. This is your video game. I'm not going to stop you.
Please don't. I'm grooving out over here. This is awesome.
I've never reflected that way.
I think we could all agree is that Royal is the best character in this game by far.
He is very charismatic. Alright, so the charge shot for the roller bomb is a missile. Come on, Royal, shoot your rocks. Okay, I need to shoot 2 missiles at this guy, and Royal needs to hit him with 2 rocks. Yay! Quickest kill possible.
Nice.
So the missile has the longest cooldown of any of the charge shots, and it goes out a set distance before becoming an actual projectile. It's like it flies out a little bit, and then it'll do damage to enemies. If it hits them before that, it just fizzles. So proper placement is very important.
Does the cooldown apply globally to all your weapons?
Yes,
Or,
it applies to every gun at the same time. So I have to be careful that I switch to the weapon I want when I want to do.
Yeah, no spamming like charge shots, switching weapons, using
No.
another one.
It's no Contra 3.
Like that is, I mean, I'm sure that was part of your intent, but Contra is another series that people say this game reminds them of.
I usually get Gunstar Heroes with every game I make. I haven't played that game very much.
It's
But
interesting.
yeah, Contra 3 is a big inspiration for me.
We're gonna get a slope boost here and maintain the momentum through this really long room.
So good.
Skip a bunch of cutscenes. What happens here is Royal's like, I need to commend you for helping me out. I'm taking you to the One Concern, giving you a promotion, not realizing that Robin is a wanted criminal by the One Concern. And so then they send Tolo after you, not to be confused with my friend Tolu.
I was gonna say, is he here?
I wish. Anyway, now I have to fight this helicopter with arms, piloted by the One Concern and General Chrome. As far as the characters Royal and General Chrome go, Royal is he has been blessed by the One Concern and given the powers of the Ivory. Ivory is like a resource on this planet. And Royal has the power to actually bend the material that makes the planet to his will. General Chrome up there is also an agent with powers of the Ivory, but he is not a perfect agent like Royal is. So, anyway. After I fight this helicopter, I'm going to punch the helicopter some more. Go ahead, Gonjek. Sorry.
I was just gonna add that all the agents have a grayscale name, and the perfect ones have a white sort of name. Usually, no, they don't. What the hell am I talking about? They have royal names.
Oh, that's true. Royal, Mother, Father, yeah.
And that's right.
Yeah, I love when helicopters walk on their arms over to you.
I mean, that's what my helicopter does when I get home from work every day.
Of course. That is such a cool design, though.
Alright, if I'm fast enough, I'll kill him before the giant laser.
Not even I do.
Nice.
So I have to ask about the attack mashing in this game. Is it as fast as I can mash the button, or is there a cap on it?
There should be about an 8-frame cap on 60 frames per second.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah, because I discovered that keyboard mashing is a lot easier than joypad mashing, and it was overpowered. Like you can mash way faster, for me anyway, on a keyboard than a
Yeah, there are
joypad.
probably a lot of speedrunners who would debate you on that.
I mean, I'm using 2 thumbs to mash through all this text right now. On one button.
Ah, yeah, one of the mandatory ones.
I like the other, your non-dominant arm doing the mashing, so your dominant arm can vibrate like a madman.
Yeah.
Like that method.
Shoutouts to NKB.
No, that was me.
Oh, that was you?
Yeah,
I
and
think-
NK
okay.
like learned it from me.
Oh, okay. Shoutouts to J Hobbs. Muncha doesn't know what he's talking about.
If there's an unskippable cutscene, it usually saves some of your choices, or there was some bug with skipping that I just didn't fix.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess while we're here in the Iso Luger Labs, sorry, would you like to explain what this place is for, since you made it? I love this area. It's beautiful.
Oh, what this place is for?
Yeah, like what's
This
going on in
is,
the story?
Minas people are sort of hunted by the One Concern because they mine ivory in their own way, and the ivory One Concern like controls ivory. So with ivory, you can create very complicated technology using very little ivory just to power something huge. So they've managed to build this entire underwater city that still manages to exist and operate and what was I gonna say? Yeah, basically that.
Oop, I
So
forgot
I
a resource.
take it that was the air swim glitch.
That was an air swim, which you don't need to do in this category, and is only faster if you get it first try. And I technically did not use the air swim to go out of bounds, so we allow that. And that is the whole distinction with why this category is called Nova. Anyway.
Are there any other potential uses for it? Like
For
in
air
this?
Air swim is used to basically turn a 2-hour run into a 40-minute run or less.
Well, okay.
And yes, there's more places than that you could use it for.
Yeah.
I have never seen a complete out of bounds air swim run yet.
It's interesting, I'll tell you what.
For the
I'm
most
mostly
part,
worrying about bugs and my sanity.
for the most part, it's not too hard to actually do an air swim. a lot of times it's just doing a certain action to activate it.
Now, I can't help but notice that you missed a shot there, Muncha. Do you plan on being better than that from this point onwards?
Nope.
Good.
What you see is what you get.
Honesty, I like it.
All right. I should mention that the reason Robin is hunted by the One Concern, in addition to, well, she's a mechanic, which is illegal because the One Concern, I believe, like, are very particular in regards to how machines are treated.
Oh yeah. Basically, choosing to be a mechanic on your own, basically freelance, is the worst choice you can do. Because they don't want anyone to handle this ivory and maybe find out the secrets of it.
Yeah. Now what I've done is Mina and I met up with some scientists and a doctor, and they tell us we need to go around the lab and collect 3 Trini keys, which will then turn on the Isaluger Lab's security system. So that's my next objective, is to go get some keys. Oh, and you might notice every time I ground pound, I try to wrench at the end of it. That actually cancels the end of the ground pound animation.
That is intentional.
Oop.
A
Sometimes.
lot of the fast things you can do in this is because testing became faster if I added those things.
You know, as a
Like
solo
the
developer,
ladder
that makes
climb.
sense. All right, and now trick grenade shot. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Oh, no,
no.
collision, why?
Oh wow. Yeah, that's interesting.
Konjak's just hot patching the game to mess with you.
Absolutely. You won't be able to do any of the area skips later.
Oh, good. Thank goodness. This can finally be a pure speed game again. I'm kidding.
Switch version is gonna remove everything.
Perfect. I unfortunately forgot. I have this bad habit of just charging my gun wherever I go because I assume I'm going to need to use it for a jump. And I don't need it for that in here.
Can I read off a donation?
Go for it.
Cool. So we have a $20 donation from Blue Green Mikey that says Iconoclasts is such an amazing game, and I'm super excited for the Nintendo Switch port. Great job, Konjak.
No, thanks. Here's the very important upgrade, I suppose.
Yes, this is the most important upgrade of the No Out of Bounds via Air Swim run, which I'll get to in just a moment after I make it. So I'm finally going to use some of the items I've been running around, or gathering while running around, to craft some tweaks. Tweaks are like little passive power-ups, or sometimes active, that do all kinds of stuff. And if you played this game, you may notice I'm using a save statue to craft a tweak, which you normally can't do. That was originally a bug where if you hit the weapon swap button in the equip tweak screen, it would take you to the craft screen instead. And Konjak put that back in just by you just hold a different button sequence, and you can get to the same screen.
Nice, so that way you just
Doesn't
can't
ruin.
do it accidentally, I assume, but now it's
Yeah.
nice for the speedrun.
And so the tweak I picked up is called Dodge Roll. It's very important for a lot of reasons. One, because it does move us slightly faster in some instances, and it does give me invincibility frames. More importantly is that if you dodge roll into a cutscene, you obtain super speed during that cutscene, which is just helpful to get to the start of certain things. And as we'll see in later areas of the game, the dodge roll makes moving through certain areas a breeze because it finally allows for yeah, there's sequence breaks, at least especially in the tower, the next area. But you'll see more of that in a bit.
I really hope I fixed all the accidental super breaks in the tower. There were a few.
I believe so. I have not seen any egregious things in some time.
I
And
remember.
yeah, with the dodge roll, it's not called all out of bounds, so I'm assuming you're gonna do those tricks.
Yes. Like, the reason I like this category and chose to run it is because this is the category that features more of like just playing Robin and using what I liked, which was the dodge roll to do stuff. I still like any percent as a run. I think it's really cool. It's just like, it's not what I personally would like to do in this game. That's all. Okay. Oh, I should explain you may see under my health bar, I have like 3 nodes, one of which has that like swoopy arrow now. Those are all my tweak slots, and when I take damage, I lose some basically XP from that slot, and then I have to get it back. And I do that just by killing enemies, and I auto-absorb whatever XP or whatever it is we're calling it that they drop. Ow. Ow. So right now it doesn't really matter.
But
oh, I only have the...
I was just going to say... Oh, sorry.
So, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's like Cave Story, but more brutal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exactly like Cave Story. And I only have the 3... Or I only have the 1 tweak equipped. So taking a whole lot of damage doesn't really matter as long as I have the first tweak still. Gonna need this for the other tweak I craft. Now it's time for a mini-boss. If there's a faster way to do this fight, can you tell me what it is, Cognac?
Well, the missiles.
I mean, I tried once. I've never seen him go into that robot. I might die.
If he opens up his latch, you can shoot a bomb into it. But the for when it's in a neutral state, you shoot a missile from far, or you shoot 3 bombs at it.
Okay, here's your tip. Shoot them with a missile as soon as they appear on screen. Like the first one, you can just shoot it with a missile right away, and it doesn't ever go inside one.
But will I have enough cooldown to kill the other one? Because you can kill both of them with 2 bombs and 1 missile, if you're lucky.
Well, I do not know if that's faster, but at least for the first one, that's alone.
That's true.
Routing live on stream.
Sometimes you need a little help from your friends.
Indeed.
Ah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, unfortunately for the missile, if it's far range, it will deal damage, but if it's activated close range, it won't activate at all. It will do a thing animation where it won't do any damage at all.
Yeah, I hear audio cues to let me know what the controllers do, and I completely missed because I forgot I'm supposed to reflect something and not shoot a bomb into it. There we go. Alright, almost to the next boss. Just gotta get through this area. Alright. If you shoot a bomb at the height, like max height of your jump there, you don't actually have to climb that thing, and it saves you a little bit of time. As you can see, I can dodge roll through the lightning.
Did you dodge roll through in midair too?
Yes.
Okay.
The
Nice.
dodge roll input is wrench and crouch. And you can do it at any time, basically, except while swimming.
I'm sure you'll find a way.
And does the dodge roll have a cooldown? I mean, obviously it doesn't have the same kind of bar for the charge thing, but does it have like an internal cooldown?
Not that I'm aware of, no. You can just do it as much as you want.
Nice.
This boss fight features an interesting tag mechanic, which is used occasionally throughout the run. And so I'll actually switch back and forth between Robin and Mina. Mina just has a basic, well, not basic, but she has a shotgun, and she actually cannot grab onto ledges when you play as her later on. Did I not?
You have to spin
That's
it.
what I thought I did that.
No, you have to go back to Robin, and then you do.
I did that.
Oh no, you have to keep on using it.
I already, what?
Like keep on spinning it.
I already did that.
Did you?
Yes, I'm so confused. It's 6 times to do that. Anyway.
Oh,
Sorry.
that was strange.
Yeah, that was like the first time I saw that. What happened there?
Yeah, so you spin the center thing 6 times to electrify him, then you swap and you shoot stuff at him. And each phase of each boss is always something different. So like right now is this phase. Please. Thank you.
I'm getting super big like behemoth vibes from this track. like a Battle Block Theater kind of track.
And I like to angle myself here so I can kill the controllers at spawn. Alright. And now, just when you thought we were safe from boss fights, we have another boss fight. So now I get to run away from Agent White as he tries to shoot me with his laser vision. I actually need to be on
The
this
agents
thing.
are invincible.
Yes, the agents are invincible and cannot be killed by regular people. Or can they? No, they can't.
I mean, not with that attitude, they can't.
No.
Maybe you just haven't found the way yet.
So story-wise, Mina and Robin went to the machine Inti that I fought earlier, and they tried to activate it, which would turn on the island's security system and move it along the ocean floor. Instead, what happened was the One Concerns machine, the controller, showed up, took control of Inti, and tried to use it against us. And so we defeated that, but by doing so, we knocked out the power for the entire plant, and then we were going to plug back the cable back in, which is when we went down from that ledge, and then we met Agent White. And this is the only time we ever hear this track.
Because it's Agent White's theme.
Yes.
So yeah, this entire big town can be moved on threads, basically, because the agents, somebody ratted out where this base is, and luckily they can move the entire thing. So if somebody finds it, they can just move it somewhere else, and somehow they can't find it again.
So this fight goes in 3 separate phases, all of which is just me standing here trying to get his health down, at which point Mina will watch up and punch Agent White. And the other thing about Mina's people, the Issy, is that, as you can see, they have regular plants that aren't shaped like blocks. So the Issy grow a certain type of seed that interacts interestingly with machines. And by interestingly, I mean it turns them into trees or makes them explode. I'll actually let a bit of this cutscene play. Like... that.
What?
It's quite horrifying.
Her seed is very dangerous.
As the resident dumb guy for this run, I'm basically experiencing almost all of this for the first time. It's great.
Alright, so now I've turned Inti on, and the security system is active. The entire laboratory has moved along the ocean floor, which has gotten rid of most of the One Concerned, as now they can't send any more troops in. Need to get some momentum here. And so now we're going back to check on the rest of the people. Alright, I didn't clip the wall, so
Nice.
I maintained momentum. Oh, in case you're wondering how I'm climbing ladders so fast, if you hold wrench button, you climb ladders faster. Now you know.
I was gonna comment earlier, yeah, about like the climbing speed of it. And I just assumed it was a nice thing from the dev, and it was, but just slightly different.
Robin, please go up here.
Yeah, it's another thing I added because testing the game was faster if I had that.
If only every game had a fast climb on the ladder.
Alright, in this room there's 2 soldiers, and I might get them both with 1 missile. No such luck today. So all these soldiers that are still here got trapped inside because, as I said, this whole laboratory has moved and all the citizens are inside their panic rooms. And so Robin is tasked with clearing out the area. And I don't want to use any of my gun boost jumps to get up any of these things, just because I need the missiles to kill the soldiers. Or I'm sorry, stun the soldiers.
Of course. That's another theme of the game. Robin tries her best to help people and never wants to kill anyone.
So So what you're saying is that Robin is basically Batman.
Yes.
Did that actually
Yes,
influence
she's
the
Batman.
name?
She's Batman in the same way that in the real life she would definitely be killing people by doing these things.
All right. So now we have our new electric wrench. More on that in a bit.
As you can see there, Mina
that.
has a.
Oh, you turned yellow for a bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there.
As far as the story goes, Mina's sister been captured by Agent Black. So now Mina's going back to her room to grab some equipment to try to save her sister.
All right, and right here there's a very important story detail. Throughout the run, there's different dialogue choices in each cutscene, and those cutscenes actually influence a phase of the final boss. And if you get all positive affinity with the characters, certain phases of the boss will be completely neutral toward Robin. If you skip the cutscenes like we do in the speedrun, all of those choices are randomized, with the exception of the one that I just chose. And we want the negative option because if we get full positive affinity with Mina, she will show up during the final fight, and I will be unable to skip a minute-long cutscene. All right. Lots of stuff happening right here. Hold on. Okay, good. So the electric wrench, as you can see, lets me charge myself up and ride on these rails and do a few other things. Something else I did is I skipped a screen transition into this area, which saved the key I have up next to my health bar. That's going to allow me to skip a section of the game in Block Rock when I return back here in a moment. Oops. You can make it over that cactus, but... Alright, and if I jump here... Yeah!
Nice.
That's a really hard jump to make. So the trick I'm doing now is you crouch, hold your fire button, and then do a dodge roll jump into the screen transition. And in areas where that transitions between different zones, it skips at least one screen transition. Nice, I got all three of them. Holy moly.
Awesome.
So that saves a little bit of
I don't
time.
know exactly what happened.
Always good when you confuse the dev of the game.
I mean, speaking of something like that, though, that's something that, like, especially at work, people ask me, like, well, why does that work in your speedrun? And I have to tell them, I don't know why it works. I just know that it works and that I can do it, and that's all that matters to me. So, like, as for why, like, the jumping into the screen transition does that, I have no idea. But I'm going to keep doing it.
Also here, the little mysterious staircases like these, well, you're past it already. And you used it as exactly as I was gonna say. Those are just there so you can stomp and go fast.
I believe that was found in your beta test build.
Oop. Hold on. Forgot where I'm going. I am not going to the impact crater just yet.
You can't skip to it.
I could do that, but then I would be violating the rules of the category. Alright, I guess I should mention the other tweak I crafted is called Fleetfoot, which just increases my base movement speed by a bit when it is active. And it doesn't cost much time to get, and it helps a little bit more than, at least as far as we can tell, it helps enough to get. Alright, Fairy or Shockwood time. I don't Quantum Leap into this area, because if I do, I will soft lock the game during this cutscene. But now we're free.
Is Quantum Leap the like dodge roll jump thing you're talking about, or is that more of just momentum boost?
It's the Quantum Leap. Forgive me. It's the name of the trick we used specifically for this the screen transition bug.
Right. Okay.
I don't know who.
That's an
coined
awesome
that.
trick name, by
Yeah.
the way.
Thank you. I did not coin it. I forget who did. All right. If I spin my wrench continuously, I maintain my charge. That's the blue bar that you see. And so when I just swing my basic wrench, I will lose a bit of charge, which can be useful in certain situations to get rid of your charge if you need it, which will actually come into play in the next room. And come on.
It's just great watching you do all the speed momentum tricks.
Shoot a bomb there.
Works. Mostly. This room has gone through many different designs.
Yeah, this this spot right here used to have collision, making that missile shot much harder.
Oh yeah, right there. There were a bunch of changes there because you could sort of get blocked stuck in bad places when you take the one from the far left.
Okay. And dodge roll past this big scary guy that I cannot fight.
Again, not with that attitude, Muncha.
No, I literally have nothing to deal damage to him with.
Actually, you could damage him, but it's very tricky. You have to hit him with the bomb at the apex of his head. You could technically do it on the second one for sure, but the first and last one you can't do that since you're not in a good angle to do it.
You can just stand close enough and shoot a bomb and it will hit his back.
Oh. Well, now I
See?
know.
Because that's my coding.
Just gotta have the right attitude, man. Gotta be confident enough to stand up right next to him and throw a bomb at him.
Did you ever just walk up and shoot a bomb in someone's face?
You
Happened
can
to
do the
me.
same in the stealth fight later, and I'm been assured a couple of people have done that to actually beat it.
How long did it take you to get this game to its completed state? Obviously, I mean, I know games end up getting patched nowadays. They're never fully complete, but its release state, I guess.
I've started properly in 2010 and been working pretty much with no other life on the side than trying to make this game, or losing motivation trying to do other projects and so on. Sorry if I speak a little weird. I'm hearing myself back again. Sorry, guys. And it's sort of slowing me down as I hear myself.
Okay, we'll try to get that fixed up.
But yeah, it's been about since 2010. But also, I had a project called Ivory Springs, which is this is basically a continuation on. That was 2007. So you can. So if I want to really impress people, I can say I've wasted my time for 11 years.
I wouldn't say waste.
I'm sure most of the content from Ivory Spring and most of your other projects that you've done in the past have influence in Iconoclasts, for sure.
I was surprised myself looking back at Ivory Springs at how faithful I was in this game.
Alright, solo Mina section again. Actually, having a little bit of trouble. You get a slight boost when you slide off of surfaces.
I love this section right here. You're in slow motion and you slowly aim at enemies. Very nice matrix section there.
The kids might find that section very weird with slow motion shooting people. It sort of just seems like a minigame thing, but considering I started this game in 2010, that's actually a Call of Duty trope reference.
I thought so. So, in case you're wondering, this boss is not broken. That's just a result of the screen transition thing, the quantum leap I did earlier. He just kind of sits in the ground there instead of doing his usual behavior.
Oh. So it's due to that. Because I was wondering if that was actually something I had to fix on the normal fight.
Oh no, you're fine. Alright, and you may notice Elro is back, and we never actually met Elro, or met up with him. He's just magically in our party. I need to redo this room because I forgot what I was doing.
Do you have safe to save ahead of this boss? Because I haven't gotten a report on a bug that happens sometimes for a long time, but I got one again recently.
Well, I mean, I've never had any problems here, so let's find out.
We'll see.
I mean, we are due for
Basically,
a that's
Elro
never
can
happened before.
We
fail.
are. Alright, here, if I dodge roll onto this ladder, it zips me through the ceiling if the ladder is connected to a ceiling. Thank you for leaving that ladder connected to a ceiling.
Oh yeah, I removed another one, but then I left that one.
Yeah, and so that zip is why the category is called No Out of Bounds, specifically via air swim. Is because we wanted tricks like that. And sometimes, for some reason, when jumping off of this thing, it does not let me fire my charge shot.
I think there's a delay because of that. And then.
Oh yeah, I think that there is like a lock of movement before you can turn around and stuff, and I guess it includes the charge shot.
Yeah, I remember testing out some the movement in this game where when you're just moving around, you could normally just double jump with the gun, but if you're wall jumping from a ledge, you have a delay.
All aboard the hype train.
When
Never mind.
When I saw an electric track going in a circle, I was like, this has got to be a boss area.
So the boss's behaviors are not up to me. It does them in whatever order it pleases. The idea, of course, is I hit the weak point. Ow. Ow. It's faster to use the wrench if you can. And it's a good idea to try to keep a charge here because when it does a certain phase, the charge attack will only last as long as you have an electric charge. Please grab a node, thank you. There we go.
Nice.
You'll see Robin teleport into place, and it's time for phase 2.
Dangerous phase.
Does that animation of the boss looping around while switching phases, does that actually take different amounts of time depending on where you kill it in the first phase?
I think so, because I think it always goes around in a circle. Go ahead.
I think it's at least a full circle, but it can be a 1.5 circle.
And then I'm actually getting very lucky on this spot here. If you stand in the right spot and swing your wrench, you get rid of all of the projectiles as they spawn. Ow.
You can actually shoot anything you want. It also shortens.
Missed it by that much. All right, Carver is done. And now we are off to the tower.
Elro didn't abandon you.
Nope. Not this time. All right, so you get to the tower.
Yeah.
You discover it's covered by an electric fence. Then Royal says, hey, I can sneak you in the back way. And then you get thrown in jail.
Had he finally figured out that earlier he was helping you out even though you were a warrant?
No, Royal actually has nothing but good intentions and is like, I like you, Robin. I want to help you out. And then the rest of the one concern is like, this woman is a criminal. We are arresting her. And they don't listen to Royal at all.
Yeah. The characteristic of a royal is that he helps you through failure.
Oh. Cognac, are you still hearing yourself in the audio?
Oh, sorry. No, it actually worked out.
Okay, nice.
Fine.
Yeah, we were working on that, so glad that
Now I
got
can't
fixed up.
use that as an excuse anymore for my bad speech.
Yeah. All good. Alright, I did miss one trick that I just forgot to do momentarily. That's okay, I have my wrench back, that's the important part. This is the part of the Metroid game where they take all your power-ups away from you, and you have to go around and get them back.
If you see there, he'll come back during later parts of the story to interrupt yours.
Alright, so this is very important. I just used the dodge roll to move through a one-tile gap that is inside of a wall that Robin cannot normally grab onto or crawl through otherwise. And this is the main use of this tweak, is getting through spaces like this. You're normally not supposed to access that area I was in until much later in the game when you have a different weapon. And so I will be needing to come back there later. And like that, I'll explain what that is later. It's basically a teleportation system, and I normally would not have access to that until much, much later in the game. I don't have dodge roll.
Ask me to explain it. I'm not going to do that today. Teleportation system.
Alright, I guess it's not a teleportation system. It's more of a...
Yeah, every planet has one.
Yeah.
Like a fast travel kind of thing?
Yeah.
If you go to the center of the Earth, it takes 46 minutes to go anywhere.
Alright, and so getting these dodge roll jumps into these gaps is actually really tight. You have to do the dodge roll and the jump on I think the same frame or very close to it. And basically what it really allows you to, or why it allows you to get inside these gaps is because you're jumping with the crouching hitbox. And it's occasionally slightly faster to dodge roll through some of these rooms.
I remember when this game first came out, the tower was really buggy for a lot of reasons. One of them was actually found it where you could actually launch the elevator up into the sky. And it was quite interesting when I found that.
Use some nice bonus text. All right.
So you mentioned you're, collecting all your power-ups back up and everything, or you did right after the prison. Are there ways to actually not have to pick everything back up? Like where kind of sequence breaks found and just maybe not applicable to this category?
Unfortunately, no. In this category, I do need everything. In any percent, they never actually come to this area, I don't think. And they don't get every power-up in any percent. But in this category, I unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, I like it, but I have to get every power-up in the game in order to proceed, because I can't use Air Swim to circumvent any of that.
I have to admit, I had completely forgot I put that shortcut in that red block room.
You know, we didn't know either until a runner like ground pounded there out of, I assume, frustration or accident, and we all freaked out like, wait, there's blocks, like hidden blocks in this game? What? And I remember I spent like 4 hours going through like every room I could think of and being like, is there a shortcut here? Is there a shortcut here?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. It was fun for me.
Accidental discoveries are the best kinds of speedrun discoveries.
All right, so I have my gun back, and I have Mina's seeds back. The seeds, canonically now, are split between Robin and Mina when you meet up with Mina again. Even though the game, like, you never actually have an amount of seeds in your inventory or anything. It's just told in cutscenes. Anyway.
Somebody in chat asks, what is this game about? And it's about blowing things up and not getting too attached to people.
That is accurate, actually. It's very accurate. It's also about helping your friends and not being afraid to stand up for yourself and what you believe in. At least that's what I took away from it.
Yes, it is. I'm just less eloquent than other people.
All right, coming up, I'm going to go to the actual second boss fight of this area and do it. As I said, I'm going to go to the second boss fight of this area and fight this guy. I'm going to shoot a bomb at this wall, which hits the samurai in the back. Normally, you have to reflect about 5 attacks, but instead, I'm just going to do this 3 times. Okay, you magically blocked a bomb from behind you. You are just winning today.
I mean,
Silver
he's a
Watchman.
samurai, man.
That's true. All right, Silver Watchman has been defeated. I now have the tower cell key, so I can free Mina and Elro. And going back down to floor 3, you'll see the Silver Watchman teleport away, right there. Normally, when you enter this room from the right in the elevator, like I just did, you have the first phase of that fight. There's one more phase where you fight him on the left elevator here, which I will hopefully skip later with a frame-perfect button press. If not, well, I get to fight him and you get to hear some awesome music, so win-win. Ah, okay. If I dodge roll into this cutscene, I get super speed all the way over to the gate, and it saves like 5 seconds. But sometimes it's finicky and won't let you do it. Oh wait, no, I need to go up here. Do-do-do.
This part of the game is basically referred to as the water temple of Iconoclasts.
I can see why.
Right here, this is one of the most broken weapons in the game.
Yeah, the galvanized wrench gives your basic wrench attacks the ability to leave a small area of effect ability, and it also electrifies your bombs and your missiles now, which will also leave an area of effect attack. And it's mostly used to solve puzzles. So now my only thing left to do in the tower is I need to collect 3 keys to access the exit, and then we can leave. Down to floor number 1. Rest in peace, floor number 2. I will never use that. Also, there was some guy talking about how the planet's cracking open and you can hear the planet crying or something. I don't know. I'm trying to save my friends.
Cloud falls into the... I was going to do a joke, but I can't even remember what things are called.
I was thinking FF7 as well.
Yeah.
I was going to say his name's Sephiroth or something. We got any upcoming incentives or donation or anything? Moment, Sicky.
We have time for that.
Yeah, I can just go ahead and plug some of the upcoming incentives that we have here. So we still have a couple incentives actually from Star Fox 64. We are only $29 away from the Get All Medals incentive, so that'll be pretty interesting. And then we're still 95 away from the Kill Slippy, which I can empathize for because I don't want to see Slippy die either. So not much has gone towards that.
Alright, and moment of truth after this. Alright, we have to fight the boss. Enjoy.
Nice. Frame perfect tricks are impossible, dude.
Indeed.
Especially for a marathon.
Try it at 144 hertz.
No, thank you. That is an interesting concept for a boss fight. Like the fact that you're fighting the boss who's on the elevator on top of you, like you're not even in.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with that idea because it still works with such a tiny spot.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I really like it because it gives you it gives the player a sense of stress because there's such a tiny confined space when you're used to being able to run away.
And like dodge and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, on top of that, you don't know if the elevator's gonna break.
And mostly it's like most of the boss fights are you could actually see the room. Not you could see it's gonna be a boss fight. Well, it's that elevator. If you go there earlier, you wouldn't suspect it would be a boss fight at all.
All right. So now we have freed Mina's friend Samba. Elro actually went in to confront Agent Black on his own and got his arm ripped off. So that's fun.
And now everything just gets happier.
And darker, apparently.
Don't worry, there's always light.
Figured I'd turn on the lights for you. And there are spikes and stuff in this room, but you know, speed running and stuff.
Yeah, I imagine you're like meant to turn on the lights or at least use the light around you.
Yeah. All right, and now time for Dark Cave Jump. Okay.
Darn.
Is this the one that you were practicing?
Yeah,
before?
so
Yeah.
the reason this is hard is because I have to perform a kill jump on this enemy. And then, so what I have to do is kill the enemy, jump, and then hold down and input another jump in order to make this trick work. And the problem is that down and jump is also the input for ground pound. So you have a chance of just completely failing everything.
Another stressful thing is that the enemy above you will drop like these weird blue projectiles.
Nice.
So
And we knew he was going to mess it up because he got it first try in practice.
I did.
So.
Oh, hi, Silver Watchman. Bye.
yeah, it's overall stressful to doing that because the enemy at the top will drop like blue projectiles to hit you if you mistime it.
Huh, you look different, Silver Watchman. Fire gun, please. Okay, this is the pattern that you don't want. So this is actually the boss I skipped way back at the beginning of the run, Kerthunk, but he's been corrupted by this blue stuff. And then he took over the Silver Watchman. 2 jump cycles in a row. Not happy with me today, are you, Silver Watchman?
Silver Watchman is basically a samurai principal. taking care of the mysterious children of the tower.
Samurai Principal. That sounds like a Saturday morning cartoon or something.
There's a lot of anime aesthetics in this, I suppose.
Did that? Am I mistaken? Did that momentum boost like carry through the wrench puzzle, like the wrench switch that you were opening?
I have no idea.
Or was it just? It might have just been a shorter section, so I couldn't quite tell. But
As long as you don't
That sounds
hit,
too kind.
as long as you don't hit anything like a top ledge or a ceiling, you could carry momentum from one room to another.
Yeah, but it should have been
he
canceled because I
stopped to,
stopped
like-
to open the
yeah, to open the
thing.
door. That's where I was confused.
It's probably just because it's a short room.
yeah.
it could
might have just been
also
hard to tell.
it could also be like the fleet foot bonus, also doing a little bit of that. But the slope boost is the fastest form of movement.
So I take it this is like a wind type mechanic, right?
Yes.
Pushing you back.
Yes, my apologies. The fastest form of movement through here, there's supposed to be a slope slide there, is to dodge roll, because it pushes you against the wind at a higher rate. And in this area, I'm just trying to, again, just get to the next objective. So basically what happened story-wise is you went to the tower, you rescued Samba, but you lost Elro. And so now Robin is trying to find her way back to her friends and then find her brother. And I wish to find a way around this bat.
Although that looks like some intended intended developer ways to skip some swimming.
The dolphin dives, yeah.
Yeah.
Do I have a chance to read off a donation?
Sure.
We have a $20 donation from Shioth Servant that says, "Hi Muncha and the rest of Calathon. I've always enjoyed watching you speedrun anything, even if I am confused by everything. Good luck on your runs throughout the weekend."
Thank you, Seoth.
Oh, no, you got hit there. You don't have the dodge roll.
Eh. Minor detail.
I can't help but notice that this fellow looks similar to that last boss he fought,
A little bit.
Samurai Principal.
The corruption slowly starts to show up the further you get into the game. Konjak, would you mind explaining the corruption? Because I actually don't know anything about it much. or I don't even know why the trees are all block-shaped. I never caught on to that.
There's a lot of story elements that sort of are meant to be discussed by some people, but they are also hinted at the actual answers. These weird blue eyes, and you can see some posters of the controllers that the concern uses to control their machines, being inspired, so to speak, by these blue eyes that you haven't seen before, but something has happened that is causing those eyes to appear a little bit of everywhere around this area. And you can see some research that are discussing who those eyes can actually take over, and it seems to be the people who aren't magically powered somehow are actually immune to them. So that's a little mystery. As well as the leaves that aren't weirdly shaped.
Huh. Interesting.
Alright, so now I had to go pick up Royal and get a key. And now we're going to go fight the Omega controller.
Infamous fight. In terms of having issues.
Alright. I hope you guys like raves. I like raves.
A lot of people's favorite track.
I love Mancha tapping along to the beat in the corner.
Well, on my end, he's completely wrong.
As you can tell from the enemy from earlier, the hint is that
Yes,
you need to
you
shoot.
might recognize this. If fought two quite smaller ones. It was very interesting to implement crush stats during this fight retroactively, because that's something you usually keep in mind when you actually start out an engine. Otherwise, it's going to be very, very nightmarish to make that work without incidents.
Yeah, I think this is
Can
one of the
imagine.
only areas in the game that can kill you by crushing, right?
The scrolling can kill you with Mina later.
Oh, right.
At least here I give an excuse at the top and bottom.
What's up with the like texture changes and stuff? That's cool.
That's another part of the lore. If at this point in the story, if you're playing casually, you may have used one of those fast travel stations, and those are filled with all these blue eyes and are actually colored the same as the Omega controller there. And so it's the controllers literally control the planet. They can move the planet's spines, and yes, the planet has spines that can be moved. And so the Omega controller actually has the power to move continents. And that was the original purpose, as far as I know, of these machines. Oops.
Fun fact, the way my engine works, this room is actually built all like 5 times over, and it's actually moving the runes instead of actually changing textures, because the engine I use isn't good enough to just do texture swaps.
That's pretty cool. Was that like a performance nightmare to make work, or were the rooms kind of small enough where it wasn't too much of an issue?
Thanks to the guy porting the game from Construct, nothing is a performance issue in this game, which is very good.
Nice.
Which is why I can boast that this pixel art game that looks like it was made on like late Super Nintendo, it can run on 144 hertz.
That is pretty cool.
It also costs some elevators to not work, so that's less cool.
It is always nice though when a game's like internal, like tick system for checking inputs and all that is not tied to frame rate, because otherwise then you can have some real big issues with speedruns.
Yeah, frame rate dependent games, in 2D at least, is usually the more common thing to do. Even some 3D games do it. Like, for instance, a game like Dark Souls, when people try to run the original one in 60, it breaks a lot of things. I find that fascinating. Just who will do locked frame rates and who will not.
Alright, we have killed the Omega controller. In a cutscene that follows it, Royal knocks it into the sky, and then part of it flies off into space to do who knows what. And then Royal says, hey, I'll get you into the one concern west here. Your brother's totally inside. Give me just a second to talk to my guys, and you'll be in, no problem. And then there's a little cutscene of Robin waiting out there for a while. And she eventually just decides to leave. And here we are.
Oh, and by the way, you just saw a boat on land, underground.
Oh yeah, don't worry about
running
that.
around the ceiling.
That boat makes perfect sense. That's totally happening. I mean, I drive my boat
Yeah.
on the street. I don't know about you.
Yeah, you can't get insurance, but it works.
As long as you got the proper permits, that's all that matters.
I want to fire my gun downward to propel me, but the ladder keeps catching me.
I think the boat hint earlier and then boat appearing right there is a very good game mechanic where you hint the player to go to a certain area, so you go back to the area that you once were to actually progress through the story.
Yeah, like some of the side quests or even parts of the main bit really just give you hints to like environment effects. This strange creature is Mina in winter gear. She's a tropical gal. She's not exactly used to the snow. So now we are in the fast travel system, and I'm going to go to the tower, which you actually should not have access to. So this is actually, you encounter this normally through gameplay. Like, this isn't a secret, like the teleporter I used is not secret. You're supposed to go there for the story, and it's supposed to teach you that these things exist. Anyway.
Yeah, we're back here.
Yeah, we're back in the tower. So what the game tells you is that you need to find someone who can get you into One Concern West. And it's supposed to be the Doctor, which you met in Issa Luger Laboratories. And he's now somewhere out in the world, and you have to go find him. And he's in the tower because that's where all the people that need help are. And so you enter the tower from you enter that room from below, and the game doesn't expect you to do that, so it zips you up during the cutscene to the entrance of the tower, which then gets me back here.
One of those lucky things where the unintended actually solves itself. Instead of getting stuck.
Alright, now I need to do this tricky room. The room is very difficult to move to. And now I have every boss fight in this game is unique. This one is especially unique because not only does it use the tag mechanic, but it encourages stealth. So what I have to do is hide Robin in a bush, and then switch to Mina and hide her in water. What you're supposed to do is bait out the boss with one character, switch to the other, and then fight the boss. But instead, you can fight the boss like this and kill him with 2 missiles instead of in 4 different phases with the stun gun.
Oh, wow.
Bye, Ash. Well, the character's name is Ash, by the way. He's another one of those agents, but he hasn't worked for the One Concern, like he hasn't had any orders in a long time, so he's now just kind of defected. And he's kind of questioning if what he's doing is right. At least that's what I got from him.
Yeah, I haven't quite seen that tactic used before. I used another one that's also really fast, but not as elegant as that.
I found that setup by accident one day, because I had never managed to do that fight with missiles, and I tried all the setups people told me worked, and they never worked, so I just decided to try and find out my own way to do it. And it turns out that that way was then the fastest way, as far as I remember.
Oh yeah, that was the fastest one I've seen. But yeah, even some of the agents turn out to have hearts, even though people outside of the One Concern sort of treat them as monsters, and Ash is a hint of that.
I remember you saying the agents were all invincible and you couldn't hurt them.
Yes, so the agents, you can't kill them, but you can hurt them and they can heal, and that's what you were doing against Ash, and why he was willing to fight you, because he knows that you can't kill him. Well, Mina and Robin can because Ash doesn't know about these seeds, but even then, that wasn't our objective. So what you're hoping for is that Ash would let you into One Concern West somehow, and instead what he tells you to do, which I'll show off here, is he asks you to utilize stealth and your brains to infiltrate One Concern, and we'll see how that plays out. Please firebomb. Thank you.
So you can not only electrify the wrench, but you can actually electrify the weapons as well?
Yes, the bomb and the missile only.
The projectiles, basically, right?
Yeah, but like I can't electrify my stun gun shots, but I guess that's slightly different matter.
Yeah.
Another aspect of the electric wrench is that it will leave out a electric ball, I would say, and if it's touched by an enemy, it'll continuously do damage to it. So in one of the earlier bosses, it was showcased that you could do like 2 missiles, and the electric ball will do a ton of damage to it.
Stomping those spikes was intentional, right?
Oh yeah, you know, I need my healthy breakfast of spikes in the morning. All right, so now I'm gonna let this cutscene play. This is how we're entering One Concern. We just dress Mina up like the abominable snow woman, and Robin is very scared apparently.
Because the security systems here work in a very contrived way that luckily makes you get inside.
Yeah, I forget. It's like the camera only opens the door if it detects that there's not a person there. I forget how it works.
No, the thing I came up with was that it's always open and instead locks at the moment of seeing somebody who doesn't belong. So
right.
when it sees somebody who doesn't look quite like a person, it just leaves it unlocked. So
All right.
You don't want that security system, I suppose.
I like that the character immediately said, "This is stupid."
I think Mina might be my favorite character because I identify with her the most, like attitude-wise, because that is the exact thing I would say when infiltrating.
Mina is for sure the badass of the group.
Yeah. Oop, doo, doo, doo. All right, I need you.
There's that guy.
Oops, I actually did not. Okay,
That might be bad.
we're okay for now.
You're fine.
Oh, you have just enough to get that.
I have just enough health to live.
Oh,
I didn't even know that shot was possible. That's never happened before.
Nice.
So okay, I need to go into that room on the left there anyway. It's just that now I actually have to go back all the way down to kill this enemy. Otherwise, he is going to cause me many problems later. Okay. Okay. I messed up, so I was trying to do a trick to get back to the top of the thing without having to go up the elevator. Let's try again. So I just have to be very careful where I shoot my bombs, because if they're not spaced properly, I don't have enough charge to actually make everything. And then I have to lower this chain down the entire length of this room to open the elevator shaft at the top.
unfortunately, if you jump up a little bit early, it won't allow you to go further than upwards because the shaft won't actually open up.
Yeah. And I need that key.
It's interesting to see like how much puzzle utilization you get out of just like bombs and missiles.
Ooh, okay. This
Oh yeah,
room,
that's something I'm, so to speak, passionate about. Having as few things as possible, but they're as dynamic as I can make them.
Yeah, always fun to see when games like make you think about how to use some basic mechanics in interesting ways to solve puzzles.
Sometimes you sort of have to wrestle with an audience though, because an audience usually loves getting a ton of stuff all the time. Hopefully just the satisfaction of defeating these things in the various ways is enough for people.
I have a lot of fun fighting the enemies because I never know, like ahead of time, if I see a new enemy, I never know what the best way to fight it is, but I know that all of my tools available to me can probably do like 2 or 3 different things when fighting.
Yeah, what I like about it is that you don't have to learn anything new. You don't get a tutorial every hour or so because the controls always remain the same. You know that your charge shot is going to be a different kind of puzzle element, and it always just controls the same because there's so few things that are dynamic instead.
Whoa, was that like a teleport thing?
Yeah, so the gun I just picked up is called Usurper Shot. It has it's a regular laser gun. It's the most powerful weapon in my disposal now. As you see, the cooldown bar fills up for it as you fire, and then it overheats. And it has the shortest cooldown of any of the charge shots. And the charge shot swaps places with items and objects. So in certain situations, it's necessary to do that in order to progress, and in other times, I can actually just dodge roll through some of those spaces, and I'm not boosting myself because I should be. No, down the elevator, Muncha.
D-pads are hard sometimes.
D-pads are hard, man. Alright, so a small cutscene. This ship in the background is one of Mina's ancestral, her people's ancestral vessels when they came to this planet, and it's been picked clean by the one concerned, probably for technology and stuff.
That's another one of the mysteries. I would say it's not Mina's people, but she thinks it's theirs.
Gasp!
No, it turns out that people didn't actually live here originally. I really enjoy watching people theorize about the plot, so that's why I'm not being very detailed.
Got to be ultra vague about
That
it.
is, you know, I mean, that's the main selling point of your game, so I fully support that. I also think that if people are interested in the story of this game, they should definitely play it. Because it, like I said, the speedrun does not do the story of this game justice. And it is an excellently crafted story with a lot of like real emotional depth, and I will stop fanboying now.
Well, it's
Thank
kind of
you.
funny too that you mentioned Dark Souls earlier, and that is a game that has a similar kind of like a lot of the plot stuff is somewhat vague intentionally. Was there any kind of inspiration
well,
drawn
yeah,
there?
I've played like 300 hours of just Dark Souls. which unfortunately doesn't have a great story. But
I'm gonna try that trick
but
again.
yeah,
Sorry.
I was my intent. Oh, that box disappeared.
Yeah. There we go.
Hey,
I lost
was a nice
time because
zip.
if you don't do it the first time, you lose time by doing it again. But
worth
that's
it.
okay. Yeah. So if you stomp on the box there, it squeezes you in collision and then zips you up through the wall. Conveniently, if you place it or position yourself correctly right where you need to go. And then I gotta stand real close to that to dodge roll through those. Please give me health. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, you don't need it.
All I was gonna say about the story was that I wanted it to be about the characters first of all, focusing on them, and then the details people can theorize about is the like surrounding world story and whatever happened to it. Oh yeah, this tactic. I haven't actually tried it myself.
Yeah, this boss is supposed to teach you how, well, it does teach you how to use the Usurper gun to its fullest extent, because you're supposed to swap with the boss and then shoot him from behind in order to lower him onto the spikes. But if you roll, dodge roll jump right into him at the start of the fight, there's a small section where you can squeeze a bomb like right under his shield to also hit the platform down, so you can just do what I did.
And you just had a very pleasant swim. There's nothing suggestive about that area.
Nope.
No, not whatsoever.
All right, now I'm meeting up with Royal. He's having some trouble with some pink sand. I'm gonna leave him to his troubles. So now Royal actually joins us in a cutscene after there, or he was supposed to. I guess he will in a bit. Anyway, so Robin has still not found her brother, Elro, inside One Concern West. So now her objective is just to continue searching and try and find where he is being kept. Kill that laser.
I love that animation of the swap thing. It looks like really hits you with a bunch of impact.
It's very clear on what it does. It's so it slowly closes down to your character between the two objects, and then very nicely like swaps them very quickly at the last second. So it creates a very clean shot.
Whee!
One of the easiest skips in the game for one of the biggest puzzles.
Now, we've seen this smog kind of thing a couple of times. Is that basically like a poison? Effectively the same as being underwater, more or less?
Yeah.
You have a certain amount of breath. And then will it instantly kill you after that, or does it just degrade your health gradually?
After you lose your air meter, it degrades your health rapidly.
Okay.
But health is not super important right now before this next boss, which is coming up at the end of this hallway.
Ooh, long, ominous hallways. Always a great pacing mechanic.
Now we get to fight Agent Black for the first time. Enjoy the music. This attack leaves me at a scripted amount of health, and then these controllers spawn and always drop health.
I always been wondering, wouldn't it be faster to just shoot the bombs during
No,
the section?
it is not, because the bombs have a longer cooldown.
But wouldn't like you could just like roll it down the hills?
No. Like, that would not work as well against Black because I'm still having to wait for the bomb cooldown before I can shoot her again.
Ah, I see.
Versus this, I can go up, shoot her, and then hit her with a wrench. Oh god. Ease up there, Black. Alright.
Nice.
Another important story detail, which I won't go into too much detail on, is just that Agent Black despises Robin because of Elro. And if you want to know why, I suggest you play Iconoclasts.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so after meeting up with Royal again and fighting Agent Black, Royal says, let's check one concern east for your brother instead. So that's where we are now.
So if I'm not mistaken, you're still using the charge shot for, even though it normally does like a swap your position, as long as there's nothing to swap your position with, you're still using it for momentum boost, just like the stun gun, right?
Yes, and I choose to use the Usurper gun for this just because it has a shorter cooldown.
Right.
Yeah. And here we finally find Elro. And then instead of going around, I'm going to go back up.
And now Royal's next idea is that you should go and finally meet Mother to help Elro.
Yes, so Mother is the leader of the One Concern religion, and Royal thinks that maybe he can convince Mother to either pardon Elro of his crimes, or at the very least repair his arm. I mean, what would a megalomaniac possibly want with us?
That's at least what he's insinuating to them.
As somebody who doesn't know the story, I've been waiting this entire time for Royal to backstab you. Just double cross the party.
Surprisingly, I was thinking the same thing when I first met him in the story. But for the most part, he's pretty much naive about the whole world around him.
As he finds out right here. When he's not let back into his home city.
Yeah, what happens in that cutscene is you meet Pete, the town guard, and Pete says, Royal, you're not welcome here anymore. Leave. And so then you use the Usurper gun on him to swap places. And this is City 1. So City 1 is the main city of the One Concern. There is no penance or fear of the religion here because everybody here is considered to be the holy of the most holy.
And you just passed by some people who lived in your settlement who finally made it there and got to live there.
Yes.
So this is basically like Vatican City.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Oop.
And from here on out, the game is very action-focused, really. I sort of wanted to escalate the feel of what was happening. And some people have interpreted it as you know, me not having any more like time to actually make puzzle areas, but I felt the escalation was actually nice. You sort of want to see what happens next.
Yeah, like the story has really come to a climax at this point, and it's the big moment where you finally see like the heads of this religion you've been hearing so much about. All right, I hope you like cats. Let me see some cool cats in chat.
I don't like cats, so I'm glad that you're going to kill it. Or, you know, defeat it.
Hey, I have a cat.
I'm a dog person, man. Can't change.
All right, I have to wait for this specific attack in order to actually swap places with Mother, at which point then Mina can damage her. I must do all of this 4 times. And the attacks in between where the cat shoots the laser, like I can't influence that in any way, shape, or form. So this fight takes a varying amount of time each time you do it. No tail swipe? Tail swipe. Tail swipe is optional. I'm not really sure what causes it specifically.
It's like, I think it's a 50-50 when you're behind. And I don't think it adds to the pool of attacks before you can do the one you want.
No, it just takes a little bit of extra time. All aboard the hype train.
I like the idea that every boss fight that is very unique with their own like soundtrack. And then this soundtrack right here is just like very like kind of like ominous. You're facing like a very high entity and it like a god like being, and you're trying to pretty much like take down like Sephiroth.
I'm just gonna let this attack hit me. It's faster.
And because this isn't one of the like tag team fights, you're not really controlling your party members, right? Like they're kind
No.
of sticking near you when you run around, but
Exactly.
I'm assuming they're choosing to shoot on their own.
Yeah. Mino will try to
Elrow's
shoot.
doing his own thing.
Yeah, Mino will try to shoot at the rocks that the boss spawns. Elrow's just kind of sad and wants to go home, but he's been through a lot. And Royal is doing his best. Look at him though, he's so energetic and like hopeful. You can do it.
Is this the longest fight? in terms of
Yes.
speedrun? Hooray!
Unless you get really bad luck on Nobel. But there's a new
that's
skip I've never done. We'll see how that goes.
Congrats.
All right, and then we skip the cutscene, but Mother explodes and turns into a tree.
Oh,
And now a
Pretty
giant
common.
civil war breaks out inside the city because you have killed a god. And now the factions of the One Concern are warring between those that are loyal to Mother and those that are loyal to General Chrome. Many L's and R's in one sentence. This is called a boa obstructor. As you can see, it's obstructing me. Now I need Spaceman to walk over here to swap places with him so I can perform this.
nice.
That room can go very easily or very poorly, depending on how the purple Spaceman decides to behave.
It's just safer to just put him on the other side instead of just going for it.
Yeah, so that's why I decided to swap. Okay, we're through the Bastion. So the higher-ups in the One Concern are freaking out now for many obvious reasons. One, because you've killed Mother, and two, because their god, the Star Worm, is coming back. And so they're all freaking out in that room. Now we're going to go over here and meet General Chrome again, and he's actually going to kill Father, who was the leader of the One Concern before Mother. And then some stuff happens in a cutscene, some important story details, which I won't go over because spoilers. Now I have
So to make clear.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, I just have to escape City 1 now. There's lots of bombs and enemies, and I have to just dodge roll in the right places. Go
I've
ahead,
gotten the
Thunder.
question a few times. How can that character at the top of the Bastion there die from Chrome? But technically, the agents are invincible if they have the consciousness to heal.
Oh, so they have to, like, actually... Oh, right.
They have to intentionally try.
So is it... I want to ask questions, but I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll ask you later.
That's sort of why you can fight Black in the like the purple sand place.
Yeah,
Because
well,
she has nothing to recover with.
right, because the sand takes away her powers temporarily. But... I'll just ask later. I don't want to spoil it.
Well, I mean, you're gonna show the final battle of this game. I think that's a big spoiler.
That's fair. So, like, doesn't General Chrome, because doesn't Elro inject the other half of his binary solution into General Chrome after someone else did that earlier in the game, and that's what does it? Because I thought Chrome tried to heal, and he couldn't because he... I don't know.
He doesn't have the different binary solutions. He has two finished, which are both binary each, and then another one that wasn't working. And that the one that isn't working is the one using Chrome, and he starts thinking even more megalomaniacally because he thinks he's way more invincible than anyone else.
Oh, okay. So the first time was actually the whole solution, and it just didn't work?
It did work the first time in that cutscene. Then they thought they could use that against Chrome, but they got one that wasn't mixed properly.
Oh, okay, that's what's going on. Excellent. Now I understand. You guys following any of that?
Oh yeah.
Sure. Sure.
I'm planting seeds for interpretation.
So this game's been like pretty devoid of auto scrollers so far. Was this added as maybe like a pacing mechanic?
Screw you to speedrunners.
I mean, I wasn't gonna go that far.
No, most of the ideas in the game is trying to not do the same thing twice. So this was something I hadn't done. Well, I hadn't done a horizontal one.
It's true. I guess there was the vertical one. Yo, nice shot.
Thank you. Also a reminder, only you can prevent forest fires.
Are you just like slapping them with your gun?
I am
Is that-
slapping them with my gun.
That's how you're putting the fire out?
It serves excellent as a wrench as well to fix mechanical problems.
I love this animation.
Chat is mentioning a soft lock at the end of this. Is this something I should know about?
I've never soft locked here. I don't know what they're talking about.
I think I see it once in a bug report, but I forgot what was the exact reason it happened.
Oh no.
Oh, much. That would have been pretty rough.
It's okay. Mendeleev will give me my health back, won't you, Mendeleev? Yeah, what a nice lady. So Mendeleev is a member of the... Is it the Risen or something? I forget. But she is basically an agent in training, so she has tons of superpowers, but she doesn't have her healing factor yet. And I was supposed to knock her into the lightning.
They are basically called the newborns. They are what would become agents.
That's it. Thank you.
And an excuse to have more bosses. Fun fact, I was gonna call them purple cell because they are very like Metal Gear-like. So I was gonna try to make a reference to Metal Gear. But there was never any reason to call them a name without it being very stilted. Oh yeah, reborns. I said newborns, I think.
Yeah, you did.
Chat was helping me.
It's okay. People who are reborn are also newborn, right? Kind of.
In a way.
Ooh, that looks painful.
I mean, at the very least, it gave her a spicy new to do.
It's a much better one.
I love the like Mega Man slide
I know.
that you that you get when you're using this character.
And it actually is faster than walking, too, which is my favorite part. All right, let's see if I can skip this boss coming up in a moment. But first, puzzles.
I used to thought this room was really hard when I first played it, but after this, I think it's almost intentional. Don't you think?
I'd say so. Can I wrench, please? Thank you.
Oh, the box thing I didn't actually consider, but it is intentional to be able to roll across those gaps at the top.
These bats are the bane of my existence. I will admit.
I was wondering when you were, you know, deactivating all the lasers and everything instead of just dodge rolling through them and damage boosting. I was like, is he gonna have to come back through this area again in just a second? Turns out you do.
Yep, and there's lots of spikes down there too.
The unfortunate thing about using the electric boost, pretty much, is that you can't damage any enemies while doing it. So if you try to dash electric boost there, he will get hit by the enemy and fall into the spikes.
Yeah.
It is faster to bounce on the bats?
I think so. I don't know how else to get through that fight is the problem. Cool. Well, I just skipped this boss fight.
Nice.
So
First try.
we're gonna move right
I
along.
haven't seen it yet.
I really hope I
wow.
have the white ticket. Perfect.
Nice.
That I know
That's-
how that happened.
The theory in the community is that that boss room is divided up into like different sections basically, and by triggering the boss fight and then somehow getting out of the section it expects you to be in, it just unloads and unlocks everything for whatever reason.
What it does is you're basically moving outside of the image, and the image is what's used to transition between rooms. So you're outside as if there was a doorway there. Reloads the room, and the trigger to start the bosses has already happened. So when you load back in, it's gonna treat it like the boss is beaten.
Oh, okay. That makes much more sense. Thank you.
Oh yeah, this section is fun to speedrun, right?
I actually like this section because it takes like a bit of skill to not lose time here. I mean, it does anywhere in a speedrun, but here especially, because so many
I
of the
personally
mistakes.
am very happy with this section.
I like it.
Kind.
Narrative-wise.
I'm kind of glad it's not read out because like this whole section is kind of pretty epic.
Yeah, the story-wise, what's happening is we're trying to send Robin and Royal to the moon, and Mina and Elro are supposed to get to 2 different spots to push buttons at the same time to launch the rocket. So Elro's on his way to his button. I need this gentleman to follow me over here. Yeah, thank you. Now stay over there.
Oh, nice. You can carry the momentum. That's great.
Yes, and this will be very important in the next boss fight. Oh no. Alright, say hello to... Lawrence?
Oh no, what's happened?
Lawrence is...
Okay, this never happened before, or
This
or
has
anything.
never happened before to anybody ever.
Well,
Yeah.
I guess the
Can you-
damage boost carried. Can you go back to the left?
That's
I'm
really
gonna,
weird.
I'm gonna have to try and go back to the left.
What's supposed to be happening?
But,
I'm supposed to be fighting that guy
Right.
and like hitting him with my sword.
There's
Oh
a
hi!
arrow.
What?
Who's that good-looking
What?
guy? All right.
So, if
Uh-oh.
what you can do
Uh-oh.
to fix this is you're playing on PC, right?
I am playing on PC.
There's a checkpoint file in the folder. So if you change that to one of the save file names, you can use that to reload.
Okay, I guess I can... It's probably
Sorry about
faster than
that.
going back. That's not your fault. This was unprecedented.
Yeah, I have never heard of this.
This is our first time seeing this, so
Let's find that file, shall we?
can we get a pause by any chance?
Yeah, can we pause the timer and
Oh man.
have a short
Oh,
break?
man. Yeah, why don't we see if we've got any donations or anything while we're figuring this out.
Figured, yeah, this is a good time to just sort of talk about the marathon. So, yeah, Calathon is a weekend-long fundraiser going all the way to Sunday evening to support Direct Relief, which is a humanitarian aid organization that works in over 80 countries and is a relief organization that not only works with natural disaster issues but also just general health, so helping people out with all sorts of issues around the world. And on top of that, we are also sponsored by Bebo, which actually is the Bebo headquarters is the people who are lending their space for our on-site stream. Bebo being a broadcasting software, which very sleek and very modern, very efficient in terms of CPU usage. So keep your eye out for that as they continue the development of this, and as well as our generously sponsored by Twitch as well, who we couldn't have done this without. And all of the donations that we've received for this event go straight towards Direct Relief, so we don't take anything off the top there. So even, literally anything helps, even $1. And there are tons of really cool incentives too that these donations can go towards. So Feel free to check those out. There are raffles for certain minimum number or minimum dollar amount of donations, and then you can also put any donation towards some of our incentives, which makes some of our runs a little more interesting later on. A few which coming up, which are a little more relevant right now, are the Star Fox 64 Get All Medals, which is a $150 donation at 131 right now. And I'm just getting word that we have successfully corrected the issue, so back to Muncha.
We're back. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. This is Lawrence. I'm gonna block some of his attacks, and then I have to stab him 12 times. I'm gonna damage boost for a few of these fights or attacks, like this one, because it takes a while.
You sure that's a good idea anymore?
No. So I was hoping to not get the submachine gun attack, because that one is, like, all the attacks are completely random in what order he does them in. But you want the knife throwing ones because you can block those. And the further along you get in the fight, the harder it is, like the less time you have between attacks to get over here. And my amount of health is very important. So I've done 2 damage boosts and 3 non. I need to do one or 2 more non-damage boosts. Crouch just to be absolutely safe. And then I can damage boost the rest of the fight. At least I should be able to. He has given me all the machine guns today. All of the machine guns.
At least he fires for a short time each time.
One more, just to be safe.
Man, it was lucky we had you on the call, Konjak, to let us know about the checkpoint restore.
Yeah, that skip for
it's
Nobel.
unlucky for my heart.
I'm so sorry. I did not know that happened. We just found out in Discord that you can skip Nobel, and I thought, okay, whatever. I'll just try it. It can't possibly lead to any complications during the run. Well,
I'm curious if that's part of it.
I imagine it's similar to the controller thing when you are playing Mina, where, like, because of the quantum leap skip, it just sets a flag wrong or something. You'd know better than I would, though. I'm not a programmer. I'm a quality assurance tester.
I mean, isn't every speedrunner to a degree?
Fair.
The QA tester.
All right.
No, but yeah, I've never heard about that one before. I'm gonna check it out, but it doesn't seem like a normal thing.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean for this.
It has to be found sometime. It's fine. I am enjoying seeing the entire run.
That is pretty funny, though. It's like, hey,
cutting it short.
You mind joining us on this call, helping us out with some dev commentary and stuff, and then we'll just give you more work as a result of it.
Okay. Agent Black has a very large rocket launcher and is very upset, as you can tell. I don't know where she got a rocket launcher.
This is basically just Rilo from the previous game, Noite Love 2.
I forgot to light up that one. It's okay.
That's quite interesting comparison.
So one more time we have to fight Agent Black. But as you can tell, there's sad music playing, so prepare your Bible thumps, chat.
Take his word for it.
I quite like Agent Black. She's like one of the most like well-developed films I've seen in any video game. Like, she has like a backstory to her, and then also a full long length of like being like a pain to your like story.
She's sprouting branches. Becoming a tree, right?
She's beautiful.
I'm getting it. I'm understanding.
Yeah, so every time I punch her, I'm actually putting a seed inside of her mouth.
And as she's doing that, she's going for the pretty much the fuel.
Yeah, all of this stuff behind her is ivory. And so all the agents have ivory blood and can interface with machines. So because of their ivory blood, that's why the seeds have this effect on them. By the way, this game is now about kaijus. Again, this boss's attacks are random.
Are those the only 2 weak points in the spine and on the head?
There are 3 weak points. One here in this lower part of the spine, one up there in the middle, which is only available during certain attacks.
And one on top of the creature's head.
Yeah, which is very difficult to hit.
I believe there's only like only 2 attacks that you could actually have time to actually hit it.
That being one of them, apparently.
I literally just one attack.
Yeah.
You're being very unkind. There you go.
Very unfortunate.
Hi, Royal. You doing okay, buddy?
Don't worry, he's fine. He's just going up the elevator with you.
Is this final boss time? Are we on?
No.
No. Okay.
It does feel
You
like
see a
final
floating,
boss.
brain type thing. I think maybe it's final boss.
Hail Mary! I didn't actually know that would work, or if I would land back on the elevator. Alright, so you get in the rocket, and then Elro throws a hissy fit, because he decides he doesn't want to launch the rocket, and he argues with Mina. And eventually they launch the rocket. Please exit this menu that I've never seen before. Alright, so these doors that we're walking by only open when there's a member of the One Concern nearby. And the whole purpose of us coming to the moon is to negotiate with the Star Worm, which is the god that the One Concern based their entire religion off of, and their treatment of ivory. I will be skipping this cutscene as it's rather long. Oop, wrong room, sorry. Anyway, what happens is Royal tries to plead with the Star Worm. The Star Worm doesn't listen to him and leaves. Royal then attacks the Star Worm using his powers, creating a weak point on the Star Worm's face, and then the Star Worm breaks through the glass, and now the whole place is going to self-destruct. So Robin picks up Elro, because Elro loses all will to live, I guess. We continue on.
Gotta have a countdown in these.
Yeah, you need an escape sequence. Now, did you at any point want to give the player the opportunity to choose what happens to Royal? Or was the outcome always decided as it is?
The outcome of this is basically tied to how I imagined the narrative. So that's why you don't have a choice.
Okay.
Feels bad.
Royal doesn't really change. He sort of falls back as soon as he's challenged, like as soon as he worries about losing the power that he has, he just goes back to being a child.
Alright. As you can see, this button is separated from the door. I'm sorry, Royal.
Oh.
It's been real, buddy. And we fly back to Earth. And now we have about 10 minutes left in the run. So what happens after the Star Worm attacks the station on the moon is it comes here to Block Rock to the impact crater. so now I have to go through several gauntlet type rooms, fighting enemies that are all corrupted, so I have to first remove the corruption from them with the usurper gun and then kill them. In the case of these little crab enemies, I can actually still stomp on them to deal like the first part of their health, which is just flipping them over like a Koopa Troopa. It also keeps them in place, which just makes hitting them with a usurper much easier.
This area used to be a lot harder. Then I got complaints in testing. It's also very much like Monster World 4, as I mentioned previously. It's a big inspiration on this game.
I actually got a... That was interesting.
Oh no, what's it gonna be?
That was it.
Yeah, didn't you just like swap past an enemy or something?
Yeah, he swapped with the enemy behind him, and then it still take
Oh,
off the corruption
yeah.
as well.
I didn't even notice it, honestly.
Probably had something to do with the fact that you touched the ground going down to the first time you tried to switch with the ghost, and it sort of remembered the first ghost as being the one to go to.
All right,
Game
one more
development
controller.
is fascinating.
All right, positioned properly. Yeah, I skipped that room. Because you,
Nice.
when it starts the cutscene to show you that the room locks, it puts you in a standing state, which then zips you up through the room if you're high enough.
Uh-huh.
And now it's time for the final boss. You can turn up the music a bit if you want, because I love this track. Alright, so for this boss phase, each of these first three phases represents one of the other main characters, this one being Elro. And so based on your answers in some of the cutscenes, they will either be very passive or incredibly aggressive. I'm guessing I rolled all negative with Elro this time, because this boss is very upset with me.
That tends to be my luck as well when I try to play this fast.
Alright, if I perform this properly here... Yes, infinite wrench spin. So now I'm permanently electrified, which is the exact key I need for the next two puzzles.
I heard of this.
How do you get the infinite wrench spin?
You have to spin your wrench on a certain frame in between the fights. And you actually have to be careful you don't do it on the wrong frame, or it doesn't allow you to use your wrench for another 3 minutes.
Oh,
Another problem with it is that if you get damage, as you can see, even though it's infinite, if you still get hit in the long shot, you lose it in the end.
Yeah, and it's not maintained through the boss fights. Each boss section resets the state. So like if I had it now, I would just stand here and this would spin up and go super fast instead of me having to do it this way.
This is a part of the game where you have to use everything you've learned so far. Classic. Basically what's happening here is that Robin is like in a kind of nightmare state. There's, throughout the game, you've seen some characters be shot with a certain weapon.
Oh, I need to know if the hug your dad incentive was met. I believe it was.
It certainly has.
All right, we're hugging our dad after I mash through some text.
I actually never seen this cutscene, so this is gonna be a treat for me. I always just like ignore him.
It only alters the fight a bit.
Yeah. So hugging your dad only alters one phase of the final phase of the boss, which is coming up after this phase. So we still have another maybe 3 or 4 minutes until time.
You should actually be dealing a little more damage with certain attacks.
Are you like alternating between the weapons?
Yeah, so I fire like 4 or 5 usurper shots, and then I switch to the stun gun because the stun gun doesn't cause any sort of cooldown. So then while I wait for usurper shot to cool down, I just hit it with everything else. Alright, so now the star worm is dead. And skip the cutscene. And it turns out the star worm is actually a spaceship for this guy.
Who would have thought?
Space bird mechanic creature. I love this boss's design actually, aesthetically and mechanically. Because it teaches you how to use everything you've ever done in the game. Alright, so this is the phase that is affected by hugging your dad or not. If you hug your dad, he has these blocks that, or rocks that have to be broken by the charge shot from the stun gun. Otherwise, they have to be broken with the bomb.
And I'm assuming there is
does
a...
not require a cooldown, so that was, in my opinion, the easier one.
Yeah, I usually go for the bomb in PB attempts, just because usually with the charge shot one I end up missing a lot. So this time I got really lucky in that I got a lot of the rocks with the first charge shot.
And I'm assuming there are some more like cryptic, vague story interpretations to be made about why that changes.
I think so.
Yes.
All right, get ready on time in about 30 seconds. Well, get ready on time now. It's in 30 seconds. I'm sorry. Ooh, that's gonna leave a mark.
Oof.
Alright, time is when I punch the worm. Get ready, and... time.
Congratulations. This is great. Except for the bug, of course, but...
Hey, it wouldn't be a marathon without a that's never happened before, and I think that was a pretty good one.
Yeah. At least I had a solution for you.
Thank you, by the way. Alright, so Robin returns trees to the world. Everything is wonderful.
One of the best scenes coming up pretty soon.
Oh yeah, there's only one more thing I want to show, which is the end of this cutscene. While we wait for that, I want to give a huge thanks to everybody in the Iconoclasts community, mostly just for being so supportive no matter what category you run. I'm one of the only runners of this category, but that doesn't stop like the any% runners from looking for strats or posting things that they find that they think might help. And they're just a bunch of really nice guys and gals, and I'm very thankful to have people like them. Pox, Risky, Ridelith, everybody.
Your final time was a 1:59.21, by the way. So
Perfect.
Underestimate.
I just want to thank you, people, for the passion you showed to this game. I spent so long making.
I love this game. Wait,
that's
hold
good.
on. You ready? And... Dear Force!
I'll claim that's a reference.
All right, well, I think we are ready to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for joining us today, Konjak. And,
Thank you for just playing the game
Of
so
course.
much.
I love it.
And just to everyone out there who's played the game so far, thanks for supporting me. I will be able to continue to make games.
Yay! I'm so happy to hear that. All right, well, I think that'll be all for us. I'll throw it back over to Siki, the host. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Muncha. Well, yeah, that was a fantastic run. It's always a treat when dev commentary is a feature. So, coming up next, we have Mystical Ninja starring Gomon by Czar. So get ready to check that out. We're gonna have a little bit of a break here, and we're actually gonna be switching hosts. So stick around. And thank you very much for enduring my voice.